Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Here are the top stories of the news. Doyin Okupe resigns as Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council DG after money laundering conviction. INEC signs memoranda of understanding with transport unions. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky heads to the United States for first foreign trip. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Femi Olanipekun. Dr. Doyin Okupe has resigned as the campaign director general of the Labour Party's 23 presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. In a letter addressed to the LP presidential candidate yesterday, Okupe said it is better not to allow his personal interest to distract the campaign of Obi and that of the party, hence his decision to step aside. Okupe's resignation follows a judgment by the Federal High Court in Abuja, which found him guilty of receiving over 200 million naira cash from former National Security Advisor, NSA, Sambo Dasuki. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has promised to address security and economic challenges bedeviling the country if elected in 2023. Atiku said this yesterday at the PDP presidential campaign rally in Katsina, where he also donated 50 million naira to victims of banditry in the state. Atiku sympathized with the people of the state and other states as regards the insecurity and other challenges bedeviling the nation, vowing to tackle security and economic challenges in the north. The former vice president also visited the Emir of Katsina, Dr. Abdulmumin Kabir Usman, at his palace in Katsina. The 2023 presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Tinubu, has expressed confidence that his party will win all elections next year. Speaking in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, during a town hall meeting with stakeholders of the party, he told the crowd that he has all it takes to win and rule the country if elected. The APC presidential candidate said his opponents have no integrity or past experience, neither do they have a good track record, but have resorted to insults and abuses to derail his campaign. He said Nigerians all have been disappointed one way or the other, but the time has come to look beyond and focus on the development of the country, adding that moving Nigeria forward is a task that must be done. The Katsina State Governor, Aminu Masari, says among all presidential candidates for the 2023 elections, the All Progressives Congress APC standard bearer, Bola Tinubu, is a preferred choice. Governor Masari said this yesterday at a town hall meeting with a group of Christians from the north. Alongside the Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, and the Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, he said that leadership is about justice to the people, adding that the APC presidential candidate brought sanity to Lagos when he was governor of the state. And his part, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje said the main problem of the country is that politics is played with bitterness, stating that the country will only move forward if the people gathered with a common cause, devoid of bitterness. Also speaking, the Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, said the reasons why northern APC governors decided to support a southern presidential candidate was for the spirit of unity, fairness, and justice in the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has signed an agreement with members of the transport unions for effective logistics deployment in the 2023 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, speaking in Abuja yesterday, noted that the Commission would need at least 100,000 vehicles, over 4,000 boats and gunboats for the conveyance of personnel and materials in the coming general elections. Professor Yakubu further charged the transporters to be neutral. The signing of the agreement is coming barely 1 month after the Commission met with security chiefs and heads of the transport unions in Lagos. The union includes the National Road Transport Union of Nigeria, NURTW, the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, MWUN. The Speaker of the Taraba State House of Assembly, Professor Joseph Kunini, has resigned from his position for personal reasons. The former Speaker disclosed these in a letter he sent to the lawmakers this morning and was read on the floor of the House by the Deputy Speaker, Haman Adamma Abdullahi, who stood as Speaker pro tempore during the sitting. The lawmakers unanimously elected the Chief Whip of the House, John Bozina, who represents the Zing State constituency, as the new Speaker. The Central Criminal Court, London, also known as Old Bailey, has again denied the bail to former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. At a pre-trial hearing yesterday, the court gave its verdict denying the bail on the grounds that it was a flight risk. It was reported that the court cited the letter and assets forfeiture proceedings against the senator by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. And the bail application, Ekweremadu's lawyer had argued that the Nigerian High Commission to the United Kingdom and the Attorney General of the Federation had written to the court that Ekweremadu was not a flight risk. And in Zamfara State, the state governor, Bello Matawali, has confirmed that scores of civilians and soldiers lost their lives during a military airstrike against suspected terrorists at Malele and Motunji communities in the Maru local government areas of the state last Sunday. The governor, however, did not disclose the exact number of the people who lost their lives in the incident. Eyewitness had earlier told newsmen that 68 residents were killed, while about 40 people injured. However, the theater commander, Operation Hadari Ndaji, Major General Uwembase, said there was nothing like that. Governor Matawali, in a state broadcast, explained that the security forces were carrying out onslaught against suspected terrorists at Malele and Motunji communities when the collateral damage occurred. He commiserated with the families of the victims and soldiers who lost their lives in the service of fatherland, adding that the state government would support the victims and their families. He assured that his administration remains committed to supporting security forces with logistics and resources to enable them with the war against the terror groups. The Kano State Commissioner of Police, Maman Dauda, has solicited the cooperation of the State Commissioner of Justice in the speedy prosecution of criminal cases in the state. The commissioner made a call when he paid a courtesy visit to the Attorney General's office yesterday. The police boss expressed his desire and commitment to fighting criminal activities in the state. Responding, the State Commissioner for Justice, Musa Lawan, promised to support the commissioner in discharging his duties to enable him to succeed. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has disclosed that the agency has in 22 months seized over 100 million pills of pharmaceutical opioid. He stated these yesterday during the Command's Awards and decoration of newly promoted officers at the agency's national headquarters, Abuja. According to him, within the period under review, the agency arrested 23,907 drug traffickers, including 29 barons, stating that the agency seized about 5.5 million kilograms of assorted illicit drugs, while cash seized are worth over 450 billion naira. The review that the NDLEA has recorded 3,434 convictions of offenders in the same period, while about 772.5 hectares of cannabis farms have been destroyed. You are watching Spring News at 12 and Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
up is the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians
Thank you so much for staying with us on the Spring News at 12. The Senate has confirmed the appointment of the President's Special Assistant on New Media, Loretta Ifeanyi-Onoche, as a substantive chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission Board. The Senate at yesterday's plenary also confirmed 12 others, except 2 who didn't attend the screening conducted last Friday at the National Assembly complex. It should be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari had on Wednesday last week asked the Senate to confirm the appointment of Loretta Ifeanyi-Onoche as the substantive chairman of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Buhari had also named 14 others in the letter as managing director, executive directors, and members of the board. The Abia State Governor Keze Ekweazu has directed as a matter of policy that henceforth the rule of no work, no pay applies in the state. The Secretary to the State Government, Chris Ezam, stated this in Umuahia yesterday and expressed worry at the spate of incessant strike by some government establishments as the only means of pressing home their demands. He noted that the action is counterproductive and retrogressive. The government said that it was committed to paying all genuine workers their entitlements and will resist any attempt by politicians to blackmail and undermine the well-being of citizens by politicizing workers' welfare. In business, the federal government says the sit-at-home order by the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB contributed immensely to the seeming delay in completion of the second Niger Bridge project. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, made this disclosure in a news chart, adding that contractors have not been able to work on Mondays for almost 2 years, and that has affected the completion date. According to him, while construction workers work on Saturdays, a 52-day loss cannot easily be made up for in-construction work. The minister, however, promised that the new target date to deliver a perfectly completed project will be April to May 2023. The International Monetary Fund's Executive Board has concluded a thought program review allowing for an immediate disbursement of about $203 million to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The IMF stated this in a statement yesterday, saying that the disbursements will help reinforce international reserves, giving downside risk to the domestic and global economy outlook. Congo has a 3-year, $1.5 billion extended credit facility program that the IMF agreed last year to help meet financing needs associated with the coronavirus pandemic. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is on his way to Washington, where he will meet U.S. President Joe Biden today. It is his first foreign trip since Russia invaded in February. The White House had also confirmed the trip and said it will supply Ukraine with a Patriot missile battery, significantly increasing the country's air defense capability. Zelensky will also address Congress and hold a number of meetings. The Ukrainian president has spoken frequently to world leaders over the telephone and by video call, often from his office in Kyiv. Peru's Foreign Minister Ana Cecilia Gavassi has announced that Peru has declared Mexico's ambassador to Lima a persona non grata and ordered him to leave the country in 72 hours. The abrupt order came yesterday after the Mexican ambassador, Pablo Monroy, announced that his country had granted asylum to the family of Pedro Castillo, who was removed as Peruvian president earlier this month. Castillo is facing rebellion charges from behind bars after attempting what critics have labeled a coup on December 7. Reacting, Mexico's foreign minister Marcelo Ebrard said on Twitter that the expulsion was unjustified and reprehensible. In sports, Manchester United defenders Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane are said to be unavailable for at least the club's next 2 matches. Both Martinez and Varane were involved in Sunday's World Cup final between Argentina and France, which ended in a dramatic victory for the South American side after the match had finished 3-3 after extra time. The two defenders, who have been the preferred central defensive partnership at Old Trafford this season, are not expected to return to Manchester United until next week. While Martinez and Varane were always set to miss today's Carabao Cup round of 16 match against Burnley, they are now expected to be unavailable for the club's return to Premier League action against Nottingham Forest on December 27. However, they could potentially return to first-team duties when United take on Wolves at the Molineux on New Year's Eve. Before we end the news, there is a recap of our top stories. Dr. Doyin Okukwe has resigned as the campaign director general of Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has signed an agreement with members of the transport unions for effective logistics deployment in the 2023 general elections. And the foreign symbol told you that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is on his way to Washington, where he will meet U.S. President Joe Biden today. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends the Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Femi Olanipekun. Good afternoon.